ライダー、やるんだな。今ここで。勝負は今ここで決める。
In a medium that's been around for so long and that's given us so many different tales, it's a given that anime will be chock full of betrayals. Some of the most well-known characters have that as a claim to fame, in fact. It's always a major turning point when that seemingly harmless guy turns out to be a super badass on the villain side. But the question is, which of the betrayals are the best? Honestly, that's a question that's impossible to answer given how different people's tastes are and how different the shows they've watched are. However, what I'll be going over today are the 10 betrayals that really stayed with me throughout the years. For me, these are some of the most memorable ones from the shows that I've watched, and I hope that you'll enjoy hearing about them. Naturally though, spoilers abound. Now, without further ado, let's start counting down the top 10 betrayals in anime. Let's start off with the Black Knights betraying Lelouch.
よくも我々をペテンにかけてくれたな。君のギアスのことは分かっているんだ。
As Code Geass starts moving towards the grand climax, we have one major wrench thrown in the way of our protagonist. In the midst of a high-tension episode, the stakes get pushed even higher when the Black Knights, out of all people, decide that betraying Lelouch is to the best of everyone's interests. In the episode aptly titled Betrayal, we see this scene unfold in a heart-wrenching manner, especially given the context. Code Geass is a series filled with mind games and people making sacrifices for a greater goal, a series filled with gambits of all sorts, and we see the intricacies of such dynamics at play in this episode. The whole sequence of events even cost us Rollo's life, and we now remember how much of a gut punch that death felt like. The amazing thing about Code Geass is that impactful moments like this are a dime a dozen, and this is barely the strongest moment in the show in my opinion. It's a highlight for sure, but in probably a surprising take for many, I think that this is a moment that gets overshadowed by other revelations. Not because of itself, but because there are so many more amazing scenes and twists in the roller coaster of a series. Now, let's take a break before the next entry with our sponsor, Fiesta Online. If you're up for a 3D anime RPG that's been going strong for years, maybe Fiesta Online will tickle your fancy. Staying strong since 2006, this anime RPG offers you a journey to a bright and beautiful world of adventure. But what good is an MMORPG that doesn't update and give out new content, right? That's why I'm here to bring you good news, because Fiesta Online will be launching a major update, the first one of its kind in years. Now, this new update, the biggest one so far in the game's history, will bring with it a new level cap, enhanced enemies, completely new maps, and brilliant animations without reused assets. There's no better time to join in and get acquainted with the game than now. Make sure to head down to the description box and check this awesome game out. With extensive PvP and PvE systems, as well as practically limitless customizations and exploration options, this game is a wonder that stood the test of time. Let's see each other in Fiesta Online and have loads of fun together. Let's move from a critically acclaimed hit to another. From Code Geass, we move forward to Madoka Magica.
どういうことだおい。こいつ死んでるじゃねえかよ。
Who else would the betrayer be than Kyubey itself? You know, the mummy death at episode 3 caught me off guard, but it wasn't in a whoa, this is one violent series way. It didn't quite blow my mind, despite a lot of people citing it as the moment that quickly changed the whole game. It's still a big moment regardless, but I found more emotional stakes when Kyubey revealed its plan all along. I'm sure some of you had an inkling that this cute alien thing is a villain, but leading them straight to their doom in a cruel cycle designed with maximum efficiency in mind, that certainly got me. And to add to that, Kyubey successfully defends its logic the whole time with a set of reasons that in a certain lens can actually be justified. Amazing. Just amazing. To be fair, I think that Homura's scene at the end of Rebellion was just as big of a betrayal, but I felt that it was more of a betrayal in a meta sense. Hey, if not for the sudden sequel announcement a few months back, we'd be staring at a cliffhanger movie that doesn't have continuation in sight for half a decade and counting.
ふざけんじゃねえ。それじゃ私たちゾンビにされたようなもんじゃないか。
We proceed with another blockbuster with time travel shenanigans. Remember Moeka's reveal? Yeah, who could have thought that Moeka was with Cern all along? Not me, and certainly not the characters when she gave her big reveal in a moment that will continue to haunt Steins Gate fans, but in horror and awe at how well the scene was executed in anime form. Seeing the whole thing unfold was an experience by itself, and I think this moment is one of the peak highlights that the series has to offer. And Moeka's not as helpless as her initial outlook or aura might suggest. This is one battle-hardened woman, and she wastes no time showing off her chops. Poor Mayuri. What I like about this betrayal is that Moeka has quite a lot of sympathizers. That's what's so great about Steins Gate as an anime. It's really all a matter of perspective, and there's really no complete good or bad guy in the series. Despite all the despicable actions, if you look at Steins Gate and its writing, you can see that the whole world is grayer than you would have first thought. Hellsing finds its way to the list with Walter's betrayal.
Walter なのか。
ゴミです。人は死ねばゴミになる。
Talk about a slow burn leading to a big reveal. We can't tell when Walter's defection to Millennium really started, but we all know that it's in there, simmering, getting ready until it finally leads to the big moment. Anyone expected Walter to be the guy who allowed the Valentine brothers to infiltrate Hellsing HQ? I didn't. I certainly didn't expect him to be Alucard's final enemy in the OVA, but the foreshadowing is there. It's been there all along. Ultimately, his fear of becoming old and useless takes precedence and pushes Walter to do what he does. Apparently, the only way to overcome that would be to defeat Alucard, something that didn't end up too well for him. There's light at the end of the tunnel, though. They say that redemption equals death, and we can see that with the finale of Walter's journey. As he meets his end, we once again see the nice guy underneath.
おさらばです。お嬢様。
One Piece has such a long run that it might seem difficult to pick a moment from it. Turns out though, it's easier than I thought.
何から話せばいいのか。死にゆくあなたにはがっかりさせられた。
No, seriously. If you ask most of the One Piece fans what the biggest betrayal the series has to offer, they'd likely go for the CP9 reveal. It doesn't have as much strength now with the power of hindsight, but boy was it big back then. People now still remember how they thought Gaku would be joining the squad. Oh, how wrong they were. CP9 really bided their time. They waited and they waited, and once the opportunity presented itself, they struck, and no one, especially Iceberg, saw it coming. Imagine your closest circle all the way to one of your closest assistants being a spy all along. It was a conspiracy for the ages, and it rocked the entire One Piece community. Will it continue to hold its spot as the biggest One Piece betrayal all the way to the future? Who knows? I know there are already some contenders, but the CP9 reveal will always be memorable to me.
古代兵器プルトンの設計図、そのありか、多くの犠牲者を出す前にお話しください。
How about a more recent contender now? Rachel's betrayal comes to mind. Imagine you're a guy who really simps so hard for this girl. To reunite with this friend of yours, you take the unimaginable first step and scale a tower of terrors. A tower full of dangers and tests, and you could find yourself succumbing to the horrors within every passing moment. That's how Balm felt, and that's how the story of Tower of God kicks off. Now, unreciprocated feelings hurt, right? When Balm finally reunites with Rachel inside the tower, and after all that he did for her in their brief time together, she drops the shocking revelation. You have to die here. Heartbreaking words to hear when you get pushed to your death. That's right after barely surviving a fight to the death. It must hurt, but on the bright side, it's situations like this that awaken the strongest character developments and changes in worldview. Trying to kill a person who loved you is bad enough, but how about an entire clan? Paging Itachi Uchiha. At this point, it's already a given that most people who are fans of Naruto already know of the Uchiha massacre. It's one of the hallmark moments of the series that serve as Sasuke's main motivation in defeating his brother. What kickstarted Sasuke's road for absolute power was his brother's betrayal and subsequent massacre of their clan. It's an even more amazing moment to see play out in anime form. With Tobi by his side, Itachi began the killings and he left no one alive. No one except his brother, who's not even spared from the tortures of the Tsukuyomi. What I liked about this betrayal, however, is the eventual revelation that it's not as bad of a betrayal as it was initially portrayed. Part of me still finds it hard to justify what Itachi did, but rest assured, he's not a completely evil guy for doing it. We move on from one shonen betrayal to another that I feel is an even bigger surprise at third place. Aizen.
さようなら。
What a curveball this was. I still remember clearly watching this unfold, and at that time, I felt that it was genius. Even now, the moment still holds up, and the way the Soul Society arc ended with this betrayal just feels so right, so perfect even. In the whole arc, we're led to believe that Gin was the villain captain in Soul Society. Having gone his way to kill Aizen and nearly do so with other Shinigami officers, all eyes are on this sly snake, and he completely looks the part too. But turns out the mastermind all along was the soft-spoken and intelligent captain who acted like a father to his men. Aizen then proceeds to own everyone before finally escaping, giving us this iconic shot that's defined much of Bleach during its early years. Overall, it's a moment that Bleach fans still gush about to this day, and for good reason too. The setup's great, the execution's great, and the swerve was handled well enough. In second place, I'm gonna go for Reiner and Bertolt.
勝負は今ここで決める
Remember those big, burly titans that are so iconic due to the role they played at the start of the story? What if I told you they're actually some of the best mentors and brother figures Eren could have within the ranks? Annie was but a preview. The reveal of Reiner and Bertolt being some of the most important titans, narratively speaking, was something that completely turned the characters' world upside down. What made this moment shine for me was just how well it was executed in anime form. You can feel the tension building up as the two are on the roof with Eren and they start to talk. You know that something big's about to happen, and you don't want to accept it, but they just keep going on. Then the music hits a crescendo, and even though you want to deny it, the inevitable happens and all hell breaks loose. This is truly a moment that showcases the excellence that is the Attack on Titan anime. It blew my mind in manga form, but the anime just took the moment up an entire notch and gave me an experience that I will never forget. It started as a tough call between second and first, but I'm firmly with Griffith's betrayal for number one. If you thought Aizen and the Reiner Bertolt reveal were game changers, wait till you see what Berserk has to offer. How could any Berserk fan forget this moment? Good betrayals have to be game changers that turn the whole perspective of a show upside down. The strongest betrayals come from our protagonist's dearest allies, and for Guts, I could only imagine how it felt to be betrayed by the leader of the Band of Falcon himself. The most iconic moment in the eclipse comes when Griffith finally succumbs to his emotions and gives rise to the Lord of Darkness. Femto's descent is met with rightful fright from both the characters and the audience. The whole sequence is the stuff of nightmares, and we all know how screwed Guts and Casca would have been had it not been for Skull Knight's timely arrival. Even though most Berserk adaptations were pretty underwhelming, I feel the movie adapted the eclipse really well. The 2016 series was a disgrace in terms of animation, but this one, even with all the CGI, I thought was done pretty well. So, which betrayal impacted you the most? Comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed the video, you might want to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. You might want to check memberships or my Patreon for the full ViniTube experience, or you can head over to ViniTube Kai if you prefer video essays. Don't forget to check out our sponsors game, Fiesta Online. Let's see each other in Fiesta Online and have loads of fun together. Links in the description. I had a lot of fun making this video, so I hope you enjoyed it as well. Share the word to your friends and have a great day ahead.